Hi friends, Krista here. Thanks for stopping by Books and Jams. Today we are going to be talking about the books that I plan on reading in the month of July. I am purposefully keeping my list very small this month. I am not going to be playing a flip and roll game. I feel like I'm doing really good with all of my goals so far this year, in part because of the flip and roll game. But July is my birthday month and I just want a little bit more freedom. And also in July and December every year, I try to pick some of my Patron recommendations that have been recommended to me this year. But I do have 3 for sure books, and then we'll go ahead and pick a couple out of that jar. Actually, those are prompts. That's not the jar. Here it is. I actually had the wrong jar, but this is the correct jar now. Okay, I have 3 books that are definites for the month. So I have my Patreon book club book. This month for July, I gave the option of 3 very short books just for the fun of it because I knew I wanted a lot of wiggle room. And so the one that got picked was Follow the Rabbit Proof Fence by Nugi Garimara. I probably said that really wrong. Sorry for the light coming in my window. This is a First Nations classic from Australia. So, true account of the author's mother, Molly. In 1931, Molly led her 2 sisters on an extraordinary 16,000 kilometer walk across remote Western Australia. They were 8, 11, and 14 years old. They escaped the confinement of a government institution for Aboriginal children removed from their families. Barefoot, without provisions or maps, tracked by native police and search planes, the girls followed the rabbit-proof fence knowing it would lead them home. I mean, this sounds like it's going to be heartbreaking, harrowing, kind of a survival story. This was sent to me by one of my patrons, Lee, who lives in Australia. So I love that it's a native Australian Aboriginal story. And then she gave me this bookmark as well from an Aussie author, an Aboriginal author, I believe. Artist, not author, from an Aboriginal artist. So cool. So I'm really excited to be reading this book. I'm so glad that it got picked. And then my patron recommendation for July was The Extraordinary Life of Sam Hell by Robert Dugoni. I just purchased this at McKay's just a couple weeks ago at the beginning of June when we had our booktube meetup. So I'm really excited to get to it so quickly. It is a bit of a chunker. I do have it on audio. I believe it's on Everand. So I will be listening to this on audio. Yeah, I don't really know what this is about. I have heard that it's pretty good though. I think it's about a little boy whose eyes are a little bit different. He's albino. Ocular albinism. His mom always told him that he was going to be extraordinary. He didn't always believe her. He really struggled being bullied and didn't have a lot of friends until Ernie came to school, the only African-American kid in his class, to be a friend that he desperately needed. Yeah, and I'm not sure where the story's going to go from there, but I think then we go 40 years later when he's now a small town eye doctor and looking back on the things that happened in his past, especially the tragedy that caused him to turn his back on his friends, his hometown, and the life he'd always known. Not sure what's going to happen there, but I will be reading this in July. And then I just decided for my 12 books to read in 2024 that I was just going to pick one. I just wanted to pick the one that I wanted for July. It's my birthday month, so I just wanted to not let fates decide. So I decided I'm going to go with Bellwether by Susanna Kearsley. I absolutely love Susanna Kearsley's books, and it's been a while since I've read one. Susanna Kearsley always plays with time in her novels, not necessarily like straight time travel, but somehow time is always going to play a part in that. And in this one, we have a French-Canadian lieutenant who is captured, staying in somebody's home for a while, and he falls in love with the daughter of the house. And local legend has it that their story ended tragically, but centuries later, the clues they left behind slowly unveil another fate entirely. I don't know. I think the cover is beautiful. I love Susanna Kearsley. Pretty much I'll read anything, anything by her. And that's it for the definite books that I plan on reading in July. But I'm going to go ahead and pick 3 from this jar. I do have 2 projects I'm going to be working on as well that I'm not going to talk about in this video, but we're going to go ahead and pick from past patron recommendations. Let's see what we get. No Matter the Distance by Cindy Baldwin. I don't know what that is. I'll look it up in a moment. Let's go ahead and pick another. I'm going to go way down to the bottom for this one. Let's see. This is In This Moment. Oh, I read this is the sequel to When the Day Comes. This is just a new one from June. So Susan recommended this one. So I'll be reading the sequel to When the Day Comes, which is great. Get a sequel in right away. And let's go over here to this side. All right. Third one for now. And I'll hopefully pick a couple more before the month is out. Let's see. Oh, Wild Hope. I already picked that. It must have been in here twice. I'm reading that this month. So I'll pick again. All right. This one is Orbiting Jupiter. I've read that one. Sweet. That was in there a couple times. All right, let's try this one. Oh, great. A middle grade. I love it. This is Lasagna Means I Love You by Kate O'Shaughnessy, I believe. Let me look those three up and we'll see what they're about. Okay, cool. So No Matter the Distance is also a middle grade, and we have a girl with cystic fibrosis, and it's written in verse, and she has an animal companion, and an unexpected animal companion helps a girl with cystic fibrosis learn to write her own story by author and disabled activist Cindy Baldwin. Fabulous. I love that. A middle grade in verse is always a hit for me, usually. So I'm really looking forward to No Matter the Distance. Okay, so in this moment, we follow Maggie, who inherited a gift from her parents. So I believe it's the next generation from the characters in the first book. And she has 3 separate lives in 3 separate timelines: 1861, 1941, and 2001. Each night she goes to sleep in one time period, wakes up in another, until she turns 21, when she will have to forfeit 2 of them and everyone she knows from those timelines, and just choose which timeline she's going to live in for the rest of her life. So that sounds pretty cool. 3 timelines instead of the 2. I'm excited for that. And I've heard from some people that they like the second one even better than the first. So we'll see if that's true for me within this moment. Okay. And then Lasagna Means I Love You by Kate O'Shaughnessy has a 4.39. This is pretty high rating. I think it's going to have a found family. Nan was all the family Mo ever needed, but suddenly she's gone, and Mo finds herself in foster care after her uncle decides she's not worth sticking around for. Nan left her a notebook, advised her to get a hobby, but how could a hobby fix anything like her newly topsy-turvy life? Then she finds a handmade cookbook filled with someone else's family recipes. And even though Nan never cooked, Mo can't tear her eyes away. Not so much from the recipes, but the stories attached to them. Though when she makes herself a pot of soup, it's every bit as comforting in the recipe notes. And then soon she's asking everyone around her for their family recipes, teaching herself how to make them, collecting the stories behind them, building a website to share them, and secretly hoping for a long lost relative to find her and give her a family recipe from her own family. Okay, that sounds lovely. Food, found family, foster care. I am totally here for it. So those are the 3 patron recommendations that I'm going to be reading, as well as 3 books that I'm absolutely going to read. And yeah, that we'll see what else July brings. Again, it's my birthday month, so I just like to be a little bit free in the month, and so we'll see where it goes. I love that there's a good mixture in this TBR this month. So that's going to be it for me. Thank you so much for watching. What are you excited to read in the month of July? And I look forward to talking with you in another video very soon. Bye.